In this video, I wanted to show you how to calculate the p-value and make an interpretation about a significance test using the calculator, using specifically TI-84 or similar. So we've already looked at this example in the past few videos. We determined the null hypothesis, the alternative hypothesis, found the test statistic, and the p-value. So let's check it with a calculator. So in order to do this, just like with confidence intervals, you need to go into stat and go over to test. And remember number 7, z interval helps you do a confidence interval. And notice number 1 is z test. Remember, since all of this is using the normal distribution and our test statistic is labeled as z, you can kind of remember, you could call this as a shorthand, a z test, a significance test using a normal distribution. Number 1 is what we want here. And again, we put it on stats. Notice what we need to fill in is mu naught, sigma, x bar, and n. And then it also asks us what is mu, basically starting off with, well, what is our null hypothesis? Here, our null hypothesis was that mu was equal to 130, so that's mu naught. Sigma is the standard deviation of our population distribution, which was 15. X bar is our obtained mean. So in this example, we came up with the systolic blood pressure of our sample to be 128.07. That's X bar. And N is the sample size. And then lastly, we need to tell it whether it is a one or two-tailed test and make sure to say whether it's upper or lower. So here we wanted to test whether the executive group had a different blood pressure from the general mean. And so we want to make sure that this is a two-tailed test, or that our alternative hypothesis is that mu is not equal to mu sub 0. But again, if we want to check whether it's lower or upper, we would use one of those instead. If we hit calculate, this should tell us all of our information about p-value and test statistics and so forth. So let's go ahead and do that. Notice we get a z-score of negative 1.09. That's the same as what we got when we did by hand. And we got a p-value of 0.2749. Again, notice it's very slightly different because, again, we rounded this a little bit in determining the p-value. And notice that the calculator does properly double the probability. As I mentioned in the last video, when you have a two-tailed test, that's the last thing you want to remember, is that you need to make sure you double the final probability at the end. And yeah, also you can draw, if you go into tests, z-test, if you click on draw instead and you leave all your other parameters the same, it will also, create a little graph of your normal distribution and show you kind of the area you're looking at, so you can kind of make sure, does this interpretation make sense based on what I think it should be. And again, kind of imagining, okay, our mean value was the given 130, and then the chance that we would have a lower sample than our obtained sample of 128 or higher than 132 approximately, giving us the respective probability of that, and it makes sense.